Marcus Green had lived in the Maplewood Hills neighborhood for less than a year, but he had already learned one thing: his neighbor, Karen Whitfield, was always watching. She complained about his lawn, accused him of not following community rules that didn't exist, and even once yelled at his teenage son for parking on their own driveway. But what happened one crisp Saturday morning went beyond anything Marcus could have imagined. Karen had been walking her dog when she noticed Marcus leaving for work. He locked his front door and drove off. Minutes later, she crept up to the porch, glanced around, and boldly grabbed the doorknob. She twisted and pulled, expecting it to open as if she owned the place. When it didn't budge, she rattled it harder, muttering, "This must be against HOA policy. I need to inspect." Frustrated that the lock held, she pulled out her phone and dialed 911. "This is Karen Whitfield," she announced, her voice dripping with urgency. "There's a suspicious house here. The owner must have tampered with the door. It's locked in a way that's unsafe. I can't even get in." The dispatcher paused, puzzled. "Ma'am, are you saying you're locked out of your home?" "No. His home. But as a board member, I should be able to check." "Send someone quickly, he's up to no good." Within minutes, sirens echoed down the street. Curious neighbors peeked out from their blinds as Karen paced the porch, looking smug, certain justice was on her side. She didn't know that the responding officer was none other than Marcus's son, Sheriff Daniel Green. Daniel pulled up in his cruiser, his uniform crisp, badge gleaming in the morning sun. He had been a sheriff in the county for years, known for his fairness and calm presence. But as soon as he stepped out of the car and saw Karen rattling his father's doorknob, his expression hardened. "Ma'am, step away from the door," Daniel ordered. Karen spun around, relieved. "Finally. Officer, this man is violating community rules. He's locked his door so tight that I can't even check the safety of his house. Who knows what he's hiding inside?" Daniel blinked in disbelief. "You called 911 because you couldn't open someone else's front door?" "Yes." Karen snapped, folding her arms. "As an HOA representative, I have authority. That man needs to be investigated. Arrest him if you must." A small crowd was forming, neighbors whispering among themselves. Daniel straightened, his voice firm. "First of all, this is my father's home. Second, you have no legal right to try and enter it. And third, calling 911 for something like this is misuse of emergency services." Karen's smug look faltered. "Your father's home?" "That's right," Daniel said, stepping closer. "And I suggest you explain to all these neighbors why you thought you could break into it." Karen stammered, suddenly aware of the murmurs around her. I was just looking out for the community." But Daniel wasn't swayed. He began writing up a formal incident report, documenting her trespassing and false emergency call. The neighbors nodded in agreement, some even recording on their phones. For the first time, Karen's power seemed to crumble. Karen's voice cracked as she pleaded. "Sheriff, you can't be serious. I was just trying to do my job. This community needs someone to keep order." Daniel didn't flinch. "Your job doesn't give you the right to invade people's homes. What you did today was harassment, and a waste of emergency resources. That's a chargeable offense." The color drained from Karen's face. She glanced at the neighbors, some glaring, some shaking their heads. One woman muttered, "She's gone too far this time." Daniel handed Karen a citation for trespassing and misuse of 911 services. "You'll need to appear in court. I strongly suggest you rethink your behavior before it escalates further." Karen's lips trembled, but she didn't argue. With the weight of the crowd's judgment pressing down, she grabbed her dog's leash and shuffled away, her head lowered. Marcus returned just in time to see the tail end of the scene. He looked at his son, proud but tired. "Guess she couldn't mind her own business, huh?" Daniel smirked. She picked the wrong house, Dad. The neighbors lingered, many of them coming over to shake Marcus's hand, apologizing for Karen's behavior. For the first time, Marcus felt the community siding with him instead of against him. Later that evening, Daniel sat with his father on the porch. "You know, Dad," he said, "people like her thrive on intimidation. But today, she learned that the law doesn't bend for nosy neighbors." Marcus nodded, sipping his coffee. "The moral is simple: respect your neighbor's boundaries. Otherwise, you'll end up locked out, not just from their homes, but from their respect too." And from that day forward, Karen never stepped foot on Marcus's porch again.